Good evening. Advanced wishes for the World Heart Day that is coming shortly. I am Dr. Kanakdeep Sharma. I am working as a medical and health officer under Assam Health Service in Mahatma Gandhi Tipal Model Hospital. So today my topic is dyslipidemia. This is a basic problem in cardiology. We are all facing this in heart patients. So what basically dyslipidemia is, if we want to understand the meaning of it, dyslipidemia. So this means deranged. That is, the problem is there is imbalance. Lipid means oil or fat that we are having in our body, and mia means anything to do that is with blood. So in our blood there is abnormalities or imbalances in the levels of different lipids. This is dyslipidemia. So how it is more concerning for us is that is this problem makes a difference in our heart and other health issues. That is going to be associated with the circulatory system. So the basic thing is that there are abnormalities in different proportions of lipids that we are having in our body. So if we go to the details, we have some different types of lipids. We have triglycerides, we have cholesterols. In among the cholesterol, we have low density lipoproteins, we have high density lipoproteins, we have very low density lipoproteins. But if we broadly classify this cholesterol, the thing is to do with cholesterol, actually the entire subject. Then we have two types of cholesterol. One is good cholesterol and one is bad cholesterol. The good cholesterol has high density, which is high density lipoprotein, and the bad cholesterol is low density lipoprotein. So what is the problem in metabolism? How this thing causes the problem in our circulatory system. This bad cholesterol actually clogs the arteries that gets deposited in the inner lining of the arterial wall. When it gets deposited in the inner lining of the arterial wall, the arterial thickness, the arterial lumen, it is like a pipe. So if clay or any stone gets impacted in a part of inside the arteries, then there will be reduced blood supply. Similarly, in this case also, if this cholesterol, this LDL cholesterol gets impacted, gets gradually deposited in the inner lining of the arteries, then the thing is that the blood supply to a particular organ is compromised. There is reduced blood supply, arterial blood supply. So what is the problem? So we are getting this cardiovascular shocks, like heart attacks. We are getting cerebrovascular accidents like strokes. The coronary arteries of the heart, the arteries that are supplying the heart, the inner lining of this usually gets clogged by the lipids, cholesterol, and the blood supply to the part of the heart is compromised. Suppose one compartment of the heart gets suddenly lack of blood supply, and it starts not to function. At that time, the problem is either angina pectoris, or we have myocardial infarctions, heart attacks, like that. Similarly, strokes also, some part of the brain starts to dysfunction because of the lack of blood supply suddenly in some of the arteries which are supplying the brain. Like that, we are getting the meaning, the thing, the metabolism, and the problem which are causing these things. So what are the causes of dyslipidemia? Nobody, everybody is not going to have this problem in cholesterol. One thing we must understand is cholesterol is actually not a bad thing. The thing is that it is a vital part of our body. There are various metabolic activities of the body. There are various hormones that are dependent on cholesterol. Total zero cholesterol will cause various health issues in our body. So we have to maintain a certain limit of the cholesterol, beyond which the problem will start. But we have to maintain a certain limit. Cholesterol is not that bad thing, but we have to keep it in a particular range. We should not make it. It should not exceed its biological value. So what are the causes? The entire dyslipidemia is totally based on our food. activities, what are we are eating, and partially it is also a genetic, some genetic traits are also associated with this. So whatever we are eating, that gives our substances, the materials that we have in our body, either rises or falls uh, according to what we are eating. So if we are eating oils, then naturally the oil content of our body will rise. If we are eating food rich in cholesterol, then definitely the cholesterol content in our body will rise. If we are eating food rich in lipoprotein, a low density like LDL, then LDL will rise. If we eat more HDL, then HDL will rise. So entire thing is based on what we are eating. So we'll come later on how to prevent, how to protect our body from this. If we now go to the signs and symptoms, we may be thinking that what are the signs and symptoms of deficit vitamin. Suppose I have high cholesterol, then what things I will feel in my body that will indicate me that it is going high. Essentially, there is no such signs and symptoms initially that will make me consider that I have high cholesterol or high deranged lipid profile. There may be no symptoms at all, or there may be a little bit of symptoms like fatigue, easy tiredness, uh, like lack of working abilities. Sometimes we will having hypertension associated with these things, and sometimes we have little chest pain, angina, little dizziness in dizziness due to reduced lack of blood supply to the brain. But essentially, most of the cases do not have any symptoms that will indicate that he or she has high deranged lipid profile. So how this is suspected or how we diagnose this case? This is only by a blood test which is called lipid profile. So actually we advise fasting lipid profile in empty stomach. The patient has to undergo blood test, and this lipid profile has some parameters like triglycerides, cholesterol, level of HDL, level of LDL, level of VLDL, cholesterol HDL ratio, and some more ratios are there. And looking into these values, we can understand whether he is having the how much, what is the extent of his derangement of lipid profile. So the diagnosis is very easy, and it is based on blood test, and this is lipid profile. So the thing is, now we have to prevent the essential concept, the thing we all are working, the thing, the essential value or motto of this World Heart Day. We have to protect our heart. We have to think of how it is to be protected, how it is to be prevented. And the prevention is easy. We have to take some steps, and according to the steps, these things will come to the normal limit, and we will lead a healthy life. So we have some steps, a very few steps, which will keep our heart healthy, and it will make us free from cholesterol. First, we have to maintain, number one, healthy weight. So if we are gaining more weight, then there is definitely more amount of lipid content, more amount of cholesterol or LDL in our blood, in our body, and this will cause this problem. So we have to maintain a healthy weight. We have to undergo regular physical exercise. Now, physical exercise, we are having two types of exercise. If we divide this into two broad headings, one is we are working on muscular exercise, and one is we are making our stamina high. That is cardiogenic exercises. I am emphasizing on cardiogenic exercise because it will increase our stamina. It works actually directly on our heart. It makes strengthens the heart. It gives pressure to our cardiac muscles, and this exercise reduces our cholesterol and triglycerides. And these are like running, these are skipping, cardiogenic exercise, squatting, brisk walking, and there are various, a long list of this. And these things actually directly works on our cardiac muscles, our heart activities, our entire circulatory system works on this. We can work all day long if we are very good in cardiogenic exercises. This increases our stamina a lot. The the main thing we should give importance is that at least 30 minutes of exercise a day, which increases our heartbeat. And the heartbeat should increase, like we are undergoing brisk walking. If we are running, the heartbeat should raise to a certain limit. Probably the best is 120 beats per minute, and it should continue for at least 30 minutes a day. And if we continue it for 1 week and throughout that month, then it is better, more the better. And the thing should be regular. The regularity is very essential. It's not that I am having exercise 2 or 3 days a week and we are stopping it for the rest of the days. It should be regular physical cardiogenic exercises. So we should emphasize on weight loss. We should exercise on emphasis on regular physical exercises. And now we are having some food. We should have some choices on the food. So we have to avoid some food. We have to choose some food. So what are the foods to avoid first? We should we are going to the markets, we are purchasing things, but we should look at the things, we should look at the ingredients, we should look at the lipid contents of the things. There are some things like fatty acids, mono unsaturated fatty acids, polyunsaturated fatty acids, saturated fatty acids, trans fatty acids. So in this context, the trans fatty acids and saturated fatty acids are very notorious, and these are actually directly related to the increased cholesterol in the blood. So we have to avoid these things, and the food which contains these trans fatty acids and saturated fatty acids. We should choose the food which are having more in monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fatty acids. These unsaturated fatty acids get easily metabolized in the body and they do not cause these cardiac problems. We have fried foods, fast foods, French fries, and other foods which are having in packets. We have high sugar contents. We have chocolates, and these things contain usually this more of the trans fatty acids and saturated fatty acids, and this should definitely be avoided. We have more food choices like berries. We have fruits, nuts. And then we have high fibrous diet. We have to choose these things, and even if we are taking this meat or fish, we should have this lean meat. Lean meats are having less of this fatty acids and trans fatty acids and cholesterol. The dairy products, we should more concentrate on the skimmed milk than other types of milk which are directly available from the dairies. We should not consume the food which are having the meat which are having high cholesterol, like red meat, butters, ghees, and animal fats. We should avoid this. And the patients who are having high cholesterol, they should not take this food, chocolates like that. So these are the directly things which impact our health, impact our level of cholesterol. And the one thing we should emphasize, we should give importance is that it should be diagnosed early. We usually it gets diagnosed when we are checking blood test for some other causes, and our heart issues gets hidden for a long time. Later on, we are diagnosed while it is much late. At that time, uh, we have time, but we don't get sufficient time for exercise and other. We have to take other treatment. So there are food food intakes. We have options. We have options for exercise. We have options for maintaining a healthy weight. After all this, if these are not controlled, then we have medicines. We should take some medicines. We should take the help of doctors, advice of doctors, and definitely medicines like statins. We have atorvastatin, rosuvastatin, atorvastatin, atorvastatin, and we have fenofibrate. We have to take these medicines from the courses of doctors, and then we can maintain it, manage it well. While taking medicines, also we should maintain a healthy diet. We should maintain exercise. We should keep our body fit. These are just about this cholesterol and about World Heart Day. I just wish that everyone keeps their heart fit, and दिल सही है तो सब सही है. We, we should concentrate on that. I am concluding here. Thank you. I wish all have a very happy World Heart Day. Thank you very much.